G'day guys, this is Jay from Journey of a Whitefeather, kangaroos, koalas, and Steve Irwin impersonations, especially over in my favourite country other than Australia. Well, not Melbourne, but Perth. We'll go into that. But I've been to this place in the last 3 or 4 months. It was. Can't remember. It was such a good time. We're flying over to Canada, British Columbia. I love that area. And we've got Anne over here. And
Hello.
hello, how are you? We met you on TikTok, and what she wants to do, I always talk about the life PhD, people who have a lot of life experiences, stories that could help people. It's not just having a degree or anything. People who have medical degrees and I do wonderful things, but there's so much more in the world that people have experience at. And this is why I did a chat with Jay, because people need to hear people's stories. And this is why I always say, remove the mask, write the story. Of where you were at with your videos, you said you had this, you're starting to develop this gift with the spirit realm. Can you want to explain a bit of that? Because we've had psychic mediums, we've had astrologers, we've had people, energy readers. Where do you sit on that?
Well, since I was a child, I think I was in kindergarten when I first spoke of speaking to spirits. And
Okay.
so I've managed to like see them or hear them
Yep.
throughout my life. And, you know, a lot of times in dreams, but there have been times in my waking hours where I'll see them. And so I always had that connection there. And I was actually in residential school. I'm not sure if you heard about those in
Where what's
Canada.
here? Do you want to explain that one to us? Because I think we're a
The
bit different in
residential
Australia.
school is where the Catholic Church, they kind of almost tried to genocide the native people of Canada, and they rounded up
Wow.
all the native children from their homes and forced them into Catholic schools, and these residential schools they were taken from
Heard
their
about this.
homes.
Yeah, it
And
happens
the
everywhere. It
priests
happens
and
everywhere.
nuns, there was, yeah, the priests and nuns, it was just a terrible time, right? But so these
Yeah.
schools were, some of them were, by the time, you know, when I was there, it was like 125 years old. So, and lots of horrendous stuff happened there, right? So there was a lot of spirits there. And yeah, I just kind of went through it a lot. So a lot of stuff that I see and stuff, it doesn't scare me. Whereas I started telling people like, oh, I've seen this, and they'd just be kind of like, you know, and I realized not a lot of people have had these experiences. So I started looking into ways where I could communicate with them more deeply and to try to understand them more clearly.
Cool.
And
And what have you
yeah,
done? What have you done
and
there? In that case, have you done a lot of um, have you done a lot of work with regards to maybe connect, like personal work to opening up your third eye, understanding your
yeah,
subconscious, your shadow? I'm using catchwords here.
a lot of meditation, a lot of like studying. I do tarot, I do like palm readings. I'm starting to like delve into dream interpretations.
Oh wow,
Just,
okay, cool. How do you
yeah,
find that one there, Anne? Because I believe in it because I get visions. I was getting visions, especially before I went on my world trip. I was getting it every single night, you know. Uh,
yeah,
and I know they're messages from above because when I opened up my third eye, I had this epiphany of people of these visions coming through. But then I had to go
mhm,
through my spiritual awakening, twin flame spiritual awakening, to actually open that up
yeah.
more and understand. How do you interpret all those kind of things with what you do?
Well, a lot of it is symbolism, but I found a lot,
Okay.
like especially throughout my journey, like throughout my life, I've received prophetic visions my whole life. And I found like the more repetitive they were, like if I got the same ones, then I knew it was an actual like foretelling of something
Okay.
that was to come.
Yep.
But a lot of it is like symbolic or yeah, it's
Do,
just
do you
when you
work
delve
with
into it.
do you work with
Sorry.
numbers at all, or do you like symbolic?
Yeah, like I'm
What?
studying like numerology and like just symbols, like how I described it in my last reading or my last one of my last videos is I said that I would just give an example. Say if you were to tell me that you had a dream where you were sliding down a long slide
Yep.
and you fell into a pool of yellow water.
Okay.
So I would say that interpret that as how the throat is often symbolic of a water slide. So I would say that you were ingesting something that in the long run would be toxic to your health.
Okay.
You know, so because the water is yellow and that usually symbolizes toxicity.